Hello everyone, I am Adarsh Khuntia and I'm here to educate you about the topic of failure of intermediary governance. What is intermediaries, what is intermediary governance, and how the failure of intermediary governance could lead to a massive system failure, a financial system failure. Let's learn about those in the upcoming slides. Okay, so let's learn about what are intermediary governance. What is intermediary governance? Governance act as a structural necessity. It is the framework of regulations, monitoring, and accountability that ensures an intermediary doesn't simply become an conduct for risk. There are three things. The source, there are poorly regulated intermediaries, and it shows behavior. The second part, that is aggressive lending, fueled by volume-based incentives. Third is the consequences. When this is done, the aggressive lending is done by the intermediaries. There is a financial risk, the system risk that results in borrower distress. So we need to govern these intermediaries so they don't overspend in the view of earning more profit. Now, what are intermediaries? Intermediaries are those that connect a lender and a borrower. So intermediaries, they can be any commercial bank, a, a businessman, a tehsildar, or where you can get your money, where they started lending your money. So mostly there are financial intermediaries. There are NBFCs. Then there is microfinance institutions. So these are intermediaries, and to govern them are called intermediary governance. Okay, so the next slide is about the system failure loop. Uh, so this tells about that failure of intermediary governance is never a random event. It is a predictable mechanical sequence. So first is the input, and that is poorly regulated intermediaries. This is the raw material of the crisis. Next is the process. This input is processed through two specific behaviors, that is aggressive lending and weak monitoring. So these behaviors drive each other in a destructive cycle. How the output shows that the final result is inevitable borrower distress and collapse, which is here represented by a fractured cube. So this is a loop. Once the process begins, the output is guaranteed unless and until we change the input. So let's look at the input stage more closely. We refer to this as architectural brutalism. It is a structural void where governance should be present. So the governance act as a structural necessity when regulation is absent or insufficient. The intermediary operates in a vacuum of accountability, setting the stage for operational hazard. So what it means is that see the diagram, the red line shows a path of risk entering the bank. So when regulation is absent or insufficient, the intermediary operates in a vacuum of accountability. So there are no walls, no barrier, no filter. So this void doesn't just allow for mistakes, it actively sets the stage for operational hazard by removing the consequences for risky behavior. Okay, so now we move to the process stage, which start with aggressive lending. So in a health system, there is a safety threshold. However, when a regulatory breaks are missing, the incentive structure shifts fundamentally. The intermediary begin to prioritize the velocity of capital over the risk-taking nature of the borrower. So they prefer a volume much more in the name of making more profit. So without regulatory breaks, capital flows too loosely. The intermediary prioritizes the speed of disbursement, pushing loan into the market aggressively rather than prudently. So they don't check if the borrower could repay it or not. They are being greedy here. So if they provide more loan, more interest would be coming to them in a while, and hence they want more profit. But there is also a risk of NPAs. So the next step in process is the second half of the process is the evaporation of oversight post disbursement. So it is not enough to check a borrower at the start. You must at least track the performance of the portfolio after you have given them money. So, if in a failed governance model, the intermediary fails to track this performance, creating a critical visibility gap, so they don't know if what the borrower is doing with their money or if they could repay it or not. Thus, this failure extends beyond the initial loan. The intermediary failed to track the portfolio performance, creating a critical visibility gap between the lender and borrower's reality. So this the radar visual here shows a flat line. This is blindness. The lender loses touch with the borrower reality, while the borrower might be struggling under the weight of the aggressive debt they have to pay back. Where the lender is unaware of the impending crash until it is actually impacted. Okay, so now the output part. Uh, in the output, we get to know that the risk is never deleted, it is always transferred. The intermediary creates the risk through aggressive lending and weak monitoring, but that risk is ultimately now realized by the borrower. So the cumulative weight of aggressive debt burdens and the lack of supportive monitoring results in economic failure for the end user, that is the borrower. The risk created by the intermediary is now realized by the borrower. Okay, so let's conclude. To conclude, we will look at the anatomy of the governance failure. Uh, First is the void, that is poorly regulated intermediaries, that is the source. The velocity and the blindness, aggressive lending combined with weak monitoring, this is the behavior. And last is the collapse. It is the borrower distress, that is the final consequence. So, effective governance is the only barrier between aggressive capital and economic distress. And we must move away from a system that rewards velocity and blindness and instead reinforce the foundation to ensure that the weight of our financial system is a support, not a crushing burden. Thank you.